Welcome to Network Today. I'm Cheryl Powers.
I'm Rob Bliss.
And we're here to take you from meeting people
to making money. I got to find it first. Here we go.
Don't lose the dough, buddy.
I know. I'm working for the dough.
That's right. We're behind before we began, right? So truly, this is all about relationships. And I have such a great week of relationship stories. I can't wait till we dive into that. But each episode is all themed. This particular episode might be my favorite.
This is a really cool one, too, because in Rob's library, I've got one very special book from a friend of mine, Rich Kavanagh, called The Gratitude Effect. So we'll be able to talk about that later on the show.
Love me, Rich Kavanagh. He's awesome. So yes, this is all about gratitude, being thankful. And I'm going to introduce something that we didn't talk about beforehand. So just, so sad that we're going to do this. But
fire away.
I want to start a word of the week that we can incorporate into our networking vernacular, right? So my word of the week, because this has come up in several networking meetings that I've been at, that is intentional. So that is my word of the week, intentional. And it goes hand in hand with gratitude.
Well, that's a big word, Cheryl. I need to get the dictionary out and see what intentional really means. Quit using those 50-cent words on me.
Okay. I'll try and dial it back to a dime.
Okay,
right?
there you go.
But intentional. So really being intentional about being grateful, about being thankful is so key in networking, right? So we're here too, if you're new to this, if this episode 10 is new to you, then you need to go back and watch the other 9. But we're all about taking you through that relationship game. It's all about relationships and really tightening that up, making it shorter so you can get to the money part faster.
Yeah, what I like what we're doing too is because it's such a great reminder for me to help improve on my networking, is that networking is a skill set. And I think so many times we take it for granted.
Yeah, gratitude is a skill set.
Yes. And so talking about gratitude, why don't you tell us maybe one of your stories of, really the impact of how networking in your life, how you've gotten that gratitude experience?
So here was one that really came to fruition last night. So we had our mid-market professionals meeting, our event, and we had Jeff McKissick was our speaker. He's amazing. He's always awesome. Love having him there. But it was a packed house. But that's not atypical, right? So that's pretty typical. We do pretty well. But we've incorporated our extra networking events beyond that. So we do a post-networking thing at TK's across the parking lot now.
Great place.
Yes. So in the midst of that, there was a networking event downstairs in the speakeasy at TK's. Then across the street at Sidecar Social was another networking event with the Women in Manufacturing group. So all that to say, I was so grateful that we have such a camaraderie with people, that people were standing around going, oh my gosh, this is like the most fun night ever. Because not only do I get to go out and do something other than just passing a business card around, right? But I'm getting to know people beyond that, right? Beyond the transactional into a relationship situation, so that when we do that, then I think we can know how we can work with each other better, right? Now you're a person, right, not a business card.
I think that's really important. Building better relationships will get us better results. And the whole thing, too, is that, being in sales, and especially outside sales, you can become the Lone Ranger. Mm-hmm. And to come to these networking events and to meet and bond with your fellow professionals really is a great experience.
Yeah, it is. And funny that I was talking to a gentleman, Josh Sims, today, and he was talking about something that I hadn't really thought about, but that, when you're new into a market, networking becomes imperative. Right? Because you just kind of, you need somebody to help keep you on track. You need somebody to bounce things off of. You need just a partner, like somebody just to listen to you, right? And that's part of networking, is building that community of support.
Oh, I think,
not just transactions, but support.
Absolutely. I think, again, I always talk about this is, networking is my number one lead gen program at Smart Office. I mean, it's so important for me. The small business owner can't afford, it doesn't have that big budget marketing program.
No.
So how do you do it? How do you, just like what you always say, you shorten the long game? Well, through networking. And the contacts we meet at these events is so critical, developing better connections.
Yeah.
And again, going back to the gratitude.
Yeah.
I think, again, of changing the mindset of focusing on gratitude, it makes us more confident, it makes us more positive. And, because sales, it's tough out there.
It is. It is tough. And when you're talking about a company having marketing money, I don't think that's a substitute. I don't think it's a good substitute for networking, because then you become just a commodity. Right. Then you have to outspend the next person. And I know, because I sold advertising for 30 years. So, hey, I was hoping you wanted to outspend the competitors. But now I think that you can really help shore up those leaks and any volatility in the market by having a good, solid foundation, a good sphere of influence, a good network of people that you can go to, that relationships pay at some point.
Yeah, I think there's a real big a real big factor in the fact that we as human beings, we do want to help people.
Yeah.
We get satisfaction.
Yeah.
We get that gratitude effect of helping people. And that's why when you bond with our fellow networkers out there, it increases the impact on our business. And again, going back to just the basics of building better relationships, getting to know people, real people, is a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I totally agree. So we're going to be right back, and we're going to talk about a grand slam, right? Which is really our success story. So I love that. I love that component because it helps me focus on being grateful, even in a really hard week, right? So we'll be right back.
A small business is still a business. At Purple Cow Branding, we want to help you execute your greatest visions for your company. Purple Cow works for small businesses that don't have big budgets to spend on their marketing efforts. Inquire now at purplecowbranding.com to be the biggest little guy around. Purple Cow Branding, much more than digital marketing.
All right, time to talk about our grand slam of the week, which is around the whole gratitude thing. I think it's so important because this helps us focus on the good stuff, right? So grand slam being a really great success situation. And that can look like a lot of different things. I got a pretty cool one, but I want to hear yours first.
Well, great. Yeah, I've got another one. And what I like about this section, Cheryl, is just the fact that, it's one of those things that we as sales professionals, we need to set goals.
Yeah.
And so knowing that I have to come up with a good hit, a grand slam each week, it really motivates me during the week.
Yeah.
And today, we want that big sale, but today I'm going to talk about reconnecting, and it's not always business.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, last week I reached out to an old friend, probably hadn't seen in a couple of years, but I'm part of a curling club.
And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's actually like a broom on ice thing. It's not like a hair. Yeah, no.
One of America's fastest growing sports.
There you go.
But anyways, we need a facility dedicated for curling. Right now we play in a hockey rink, which kind of limits our growth. And so I said, I need to reach out to my commercial real estate broker friend, David Martin. And so it really was kind of neat to reconnect. And so he showed us a great new facility that we're looking at right now. And he did it so fast for us, which was great. But again, it was the important thing of reconnecting with someone I probably have known 6-7 years. But again, a couple of years goes by real fast and you've gotten out of touch. And this is what I really appreciate about networking. It's just the fact that, hey, he's a great guy. I've got customers out there that need his service. And it was just a reminder now that, hey, I can go back to my customer base, help David out. He's got things that he can help my business out. So yeah, it was just good. He's a great guy. It was just good to see him.
Now, I have to ask you before I get into mine, how did you keep in touch with him? Like, did you have a business card that you had to go, like a Rolodex?
Yeah,
what did you do?
I had him into my CRM. So he was in my database.
Okay.
And so I was able to find him real quickly. Another bonus was just the fact that his office is only a couple miles from my office. But yeah, so that's, again, we've talked about CRM and databases in the past. And again, that's the whole key. I was able to find his name really quickly, get hold of him.
Yeah, because that's one of the problems I have. I'm like, I know there's somebody. So yeah, having those search tools is super important. So mine's super great because it was multiple connections that kind of all came together with this harmonious experience. It was just beautiful. So, I love to talk about the networking tree, right? So at the trunk of this tree was me and I believe it was Javier Hernandez.
Okay.
Do you know him?
I know him.
Okay.
Great guy.
So I think he was the one who originally introduced me to the Lacima networking group, the 26 networking. And it was there several months ago that I met a gentleman named Jerry Hicks, right, of Diamond Blue Air.
Right.
Awesome, awesome guy. And then obviously through that, then I kind of got reconnected into the Transportation Club. And I know Norma Payne, who's the president, and of which I'm now the vice president. But with that, so now I have these different relationships. But here's what's beautiful. So at Mid-Market Professionals at Blue Mesa yesterday, as I'm walking in, Norma says, oh my gosh, I'm on the phone with her. Oh my gosh, my AC went out. And my AC people are like, it's going to cost you blah, 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 blah. And she's like, no way, it's just a rusted pan. Why can't we just clean the rust out, put it back in? Right. And so she's like, I think you're fired. So I don't know that was actually, I might just be putting her words in her mouth, but I know she's pretty unhappy about the fact that she felt like they weren't really helping her. So through this Javier connection, I meet Jerry and he's now plugged into the Transportation Club. And when I'm talking to him yesterday, I said, hey, I have somebody who was just talking about their AC. You have an AC company, right? So let me connect you with Norma, who he knows, right? But they haven't actually had a sit down visit. So I connected him via text. Norma calls him. They get it on the schedule. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, I love networking.
Isn't that awesome?
I love networking.
So that was really somebody else's story. So, and one of the things too that made me think about it being a grand slam is because a grand slam requires everybody to be on base, right? So it has to be more than just you,
right,
in play.
Yeah. And
so we had multiple people on base, right? Now I hit it out of the park and bring everybody in, and I just loved it.
Great story.
Made me happy. So that's it. So that's the Grand Slam, both of ours today. We've got an amazing guest too to talk about gratitude. Surprise guest coming up. We'll be right back.
Are you having trouble with your VoIP phone system? Smart Office USA to the rescue. We're a local company here in DFW with real people, certified technicians, and we even come to your office to help you. Smart Office USA, representing the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And we are right here in DFW, ready to help you. Call us 214-272-0921 or go to www.smartofficeusa.com.
It's a great day. You know why it's a great day?
It's an awesome day.
Because we have Jeff Sandene.
Oh, come on. You're too kind.
I love talking with, I've known Jeff for several years, but the journey is what makes this just so beautiful. And the topic today is gratitude, and you're going to know why here in just a second. But Jeff is a CFP, and not like other CFPs, because you've really emancipated. Like you've really put yourself out there a lot, just kind of just hide in the books. Yeah. So, and where did you grow up?
I grew up in Minnesota, Minneapolis.
Minnesota, but you went to UTD, right?
I got my MBA. I moved down here in 1984, and I got my MBA at UTD.
Okay, 1984. So that's a lifetime for some people, yeah. Right? But this is such a great topic. And I don't know if you know this, Rob, but he has, so I know he runs a group. It's called Business Pros. And why I love Jeff is because before he was running it, we sat down. You said, hey, Cheryl, can we sit down? And you're like, hey, I want to put together a group. Yeah. And so you had this vision of really creating and crafting something that was allowing you to then manage the conversation, manage the type of people who are in there. It's really thriving, going just gangbusters. You're killing it. But with that, during the meetings, so the monthly meetings are on Zoom, you created something that leads right into this conversation.
Oh, I did, yes. The gratitude segment.
Yes.
Which is we have a 1-hour Zoom meeting, and my most fun part of the meeting is the gratitude segment where everybody gets a chance to lift up other people in the group.
And what was that born out of?
I guess just I've seen it happen in other networking groups. I wish I could say I'm the first person that's done that, but I'm not. But I didn't really know how it would go because that kind of puts people on the spot. to come up with things, but there was so much gratitude in the group that it really gave them a chance to shine and lift up others, I think was the point. That's why it works so good.
And hopefully makes us all think about why we're grateful for certain people or things or actions or activities that have happened.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot to be grateful and thankful for. And I mean, we're in a world of abundance. And I think the more you show that to people and are thankful for it, that I think other stuff comes around to you.
That's right.
Yeah. We have a mutual friend, Rich Cavanis, who wrote, a book, The Gratitude Effect. So every time I see the word gratitude, I think about Rich. And then again, what I am so thankful to be, and then again, meeting you, which I met you probably a couple of years ago, and that was through Cheryl. And where you, again, these networking events, people, they don't look at you as competitors. They look at you as, wanting to expand your community. And again, I am so thankful and filled with gratitude that I've got this community that, brought me to your organization, Business Pros.
Yeah, well, it's good to have you part of it. And with the group, the networking group, we have a happy hour, right? And that's open to everybody. And I think that's a way for us to all expand our own opportunities. And I'm grateful that people show up, because I had the first happy hour and I didn't know if anybody would even attend, but it turns out to be a pretty good deal.
Well, it's been so awesome though to watch you grow, right? So I'm really grateful for that. I love it. That's the beauty of getting older, right? So you get excited because you watch people kind of grow and emancipate, but you're a driven person. I know you like to run. I know you're really specific and intentional about what you do, but you're really intentional about gratitude. How has being intentional about gratitude helped you personally?
Well, I think just recognizing people and letting people know that the things that that they're doing for me are appreciated. I mean, I don't think that's a natural thing. I think that the people take others for granted many times. Yeah. I sent out thank you notes. I just got a notepad printed up with my stationery that I got 500 of them. So I have 500 thank yous to send out now.
Right.
So
to be on the
surprised, yeah.
That's right.
I bought 100 stamps, so I'm sending out the first 100 pretty fast.
Awesome.
Because I have a lot to be grateful for. So.
Well, and I would imagine too, because you are so grateful, that makes people reciprocate the gratefulness back to you.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, I think I'm just thankful that people show up for meetings and refer to, just can have that cross interaction.
Yeah.
Many people say it, but I think if you just spread a lot of goodwill, the goodwill is going to come back to you. You just don't know where it's going to come back to you from. And so I'm very very sharing and it just I'm just feel there's abundance in the world. And just share that abundance and just wait for things to happen.
That's right. But you're really intentional. So
when you're talking to people at, say, that the networking happy hour, can you see that as you talk to people, that people are filled with gratitude, or can you see that just people don't get it?
I just assume people have it. I mean, I don't really try to read that into people, but and you can tell some people more than others if they're just have an uplifting, a good smile, eye contact. I tend to think that they'd be grateful too. Sometimes you're surprised, but I don't think there's a way to read it in a person.
Okay. No. But you said something we really like, and I know you're action driven. I am too. Like I need my task list. I need my bullet points. So you mentioned one action item that can really help somebody step into gratitude, and that's writing letters, right? Writing thank you notes. What are some other intentional things, either blocking out time or
Well, when I meet, I'm like a lot of people when they first meet somebody at a networking event or get introduced. I immediately go to the Rolodex on who can I introduce this person to, and what connections I could make. I was meeting with a business owner a couple months ago, and one of the things I like to do is refer business owners to other people in my networking group. And as we were going through the conversation, I thought of 3 people in about 45 minutes of issues that he had, that people that I knew could help him, right? And then towards the end of our meeting, we were almost saying our thank yous and goodbyes, right? And I said, I hope you don't mind, but I just thought of somebody else. Do you mind if I give you another contact? And so it's just the wheels are turning when I'm talking to people.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful, but it makes you, since you're so engaged with other people and really thinking about them, being thoughtful for them, that gratitude absolutely must be coming back to you. And I think you said that you're starting to see it really exponentially happen in your business, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's, as a financial advisor, there's a lot of financial advisors. I think there's 16,000 just in Dallas. So it takes something to stand out but if you're consistent with who you are and what you're doing, that's a good way to stand out. And yes, the referrals are starting to come back as a result of all that. So that's a good thing.
Being grateful is a great thing. And we're grateful for you. I'm so grateful for our friendship. And I have no idea even how it started, but I do know Panera Bread in Addison was where we used to meet.
Yeah, and you were a key to my networking group when I was putting it together. Is this something I knew Cheryl had to be part of? So.
Oh, man. Well, it's awesome. I'm so grateful to be a part of that. And you know where I'm going, right? As we wrap this up?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So a little known fact, maybe something that your wife might say about you that nobody else would know.
Well, my wife and I, when we met a while ago, we bonded over Led Zeppelin.
All right, my favorite band.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and I still love classic rock music, but my favorite band these days is Pearl Jam.
Okay.
And I'm going to be in the mosh pit up in Oklahoma City in September, on September 20th, going to the Pearl Jam concerts. That's
my gosh.
I don't think most people would have expected that.
No. So if you really want to connect with a cool CFP, it would be Jeff Sandene. And spell your last name for us.
Sandene.
Yeah, that's right. So I think a lot of people might put an INE, but it's ENE, Sand, ENE.
Yep.
And you're on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Anywhere else?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay, me too. That's it. So how about a website?
Website is www.sandenestrategies.com.
All right. So
I've got to mention one thing.
Yeah.
Is that when I went to Jeff's office, he has run the Boston Marathon several times. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's, I didn't run in high school or when I was growing up, but I started running in a big way in my mid-30s, right? And I went out and did an 8-mile run and I made it. And it's like, well, a marathon, 26 miles is not that much farther. So what the heck, right? So I just did it. I mean, it's another one of those goal-setting things, and it just proceeded. And yeah, I've been to Boston 4 times, so that was a lot of fun.
That is incredible.
So did I say the word intentional?
That's right here. Boom.
That's right. It's Jeff's picture right next to the word. So we're so thankful for you, Jeff.
Well, thanks. It's good to be here.
Appreciate your friendship and connect with him. And we will see you next. Okay. I want to know what you thought about gratitude.
Again, that's such a great word. And again, like I mentioned in talking to Jeff, was I always think about Rich Cavaniss and the power of his book, because it really makes you feel inside how thankful we are. And the networking and building our community is all about people, meeting people, building relations. And I'm so thankful, so grateful.
Right. And I have to tell you that gratefulness isn't just a thought. This is just how I feel based on my experiences. It's an action. Mm-hmm. Right?
Absolutely.
It's a verb. It's something that you need to put into action, or you could be grateful all day long. You could be thankful for people or for situations. But if you don't act on that and let somebody know, it's just, it's off in the ether somewhere.
Well, and it's kind of part of being authentic, right? Mm-hmm. Being real, being genuine,
mm-hmm.
Not faking it, And I mean, you can, I feel it inside me.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you that big boost of energy. And of wanting to, when you want to help people in your community, it's so powerful.
Yes. Well, and I love that Jeff talked about actually writing out notes, right? We've talked about that a couple of times. I do think that action really, it speaks louder than words. Because you're taking time, you had to go to the post office, you had to order, you had to do something, and then you had to put something down on paper, and it really just takes a minute, but it's so meaningful.
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's part of really a new thing that I've started probably a couple of months ago is writing my daily thank you letter. As a matter of fact, I got one on my desk right now with the stamp on it, ready to take it downstairs to the postman. But yeah, it is so important because again, putting it into action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's right. And one of the things, so I have to say that I don't get to the post office often enough, but to Jeff's point, just being intentional about gratitude, I do now try to, when I think of somebody, people just pop in your head and you're like, I don't know why I'm thinking about them, but I learned from somebody a long time ago to use the word I appreciate you, or that term, right?
Oh,
and
great.
so
Great word.
Now what I'm trying to do is when that person's name pops in my head, there's no motive behind it other than, hey, I appreciate you, right? So, because when somebody does it for me, that's so meaningful. Like they actually at least took time to move their thumbs, and hit send.
It's for me. It's especially talking to Jeff. It's a good reminder of being thankful for the people that he's introduced me at his
Yes.
Business Pros.
Yeah.
That again, I'm so thankful for that, and it's going to have some big rewards later on. So
yeah, absolutely. So. Being grateful, being thankful, can't do it enough.
Yeah.
That's a really great topic. And thank you, Jeff Sandene. You're smart. You're watching this. But did you know that 2 out of every 3 Americans will deal with a legal issue this year? Half of those will spend 13 days working on those issues. At Empowered Advantage, we help with the stuff of life. Letter M as in marvelous, howardadvantage.com. We're back, and man, that was an amazing guest.
Oh, great! Great episode because of the one word, gratitude.
I'm thankful for our guest.
I am too. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I got a little treat for you. Do you remember this?
Oh my gosh!
Do you remember this?
Yes, that was Christmas a couple of years ago.
So, do you know what this is? This is a thankfulness jar. So I'm going to tell you why thankfulness is so near and dear to my heart and my husband's heart is because we went through a difficult time. It was around the 2008 housing crash. And we had to learn to be really, really thankful. So we just sat down one night and we had to write down everything we're thankful for. The ceiling, right? The covers, the healthy cats. I mean, we had to I love my fluffy pillow. I mean, just whatever that was. So we created the thankfulness jar that we give out. Hey, if you'd like one, write me. And it's all about all year long. You put your thankfulness stuff in.
That is awesome.
I know. So, and what we do on New Year's Day, we pull them all out and we read them. So we're reminded of all the things that we were thankful for this
What
past.
a great ritual, man. What a tradition that is, man. Can I steal that from you?
Well,
Man.
you can steal yours back and start filling it up. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you get started. Okay. So I am thankful for Kate, Kinsey, and Ashley, who have all been amazing Network Today production assists.
Best production team around.
Oh my gosh. So that's mine. All right. Going in your right here.
All right.
I'm thankful for y'all. There we go. My thankfulness jar. So this became so important to us, especially when we went through, again, then really difficult times. So just a reminder, the thankfulness jar, easy to put together. I'm with your little note cards and your pen. So.
Now, I want to talk, kind of summarize here a little bit about what I've learned from this episode today, and I think, again, sometimes gratitude gets overlooked quite a bit, right? Mm-hmm. And, I look at my networking community and I am just so thankful for the community that in the last couple of years, we're going on, we're going on to probably our 3rd year right now, maybe a little.
Yeah, probably.
I would say 3 years now. And I think of the growth that I've had in my community since meeting you. I am just so grateful for that. And what it has done, it's not just impacted my business, it's impacted my life. Getting to know people who have helped me, bonding with people. And again, it's not all about business. It's about having hobbies with other people, going out to dinner with other people.
Yeah.
It's huge of the impact, because then again, what that makes, it makes our life more complete.
Yeah.
It makes work fun.
Yeah.
It makes us happy. So I am just so grateful of that. And then reading Rich's book, which is, again, I invite everyone to come down to Rob's library, and I have a copy of that there. It's an incredible book.
Yes. So here's another grateful point. Okay. Another grateful point. We have our first Network Today fan card, right? So I'm very, 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 very thankful for you. Would you like to read it, Mr.
No, you
Bliss?
go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay. Cheryl and Rob, I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be a guest on Network Today. Thank you both for your welcoming energy and collaborative friendships, Russell Duckworth.
Oh my God. What a
Russell,
great guy.
Thank you. You are amazing. And this is what networking is all about. This is why I have a full heart.
Yeah. Russell is a great guy. And the fact too is that Russell, I only probably met Russell about 6 months ago. And we have just, developed such a really good relationship. And we probably talk at least once a week and trying to help one another out, having virtual introductions, going to different networking meetings. He's a great guy.
Yes, yes. Well, here's another thing I'm thankful for. So, in the other episodes, we've been asking people to write in.
Yes.
We got a written response.
Woo!
I know. Thank you, Josh Sims. So here's a question. So we want to hear from you, right? If you've got a question, if you've got a topic, if you've got something that's just weighing on your brain, if maybe you got something you're thankful for, that would be great. We could post that as well. But go to info@networktodaydfw.com, info@networktodaydfw.com, and you can email us this. So this is what Josh sent, and I love this. I'll pose this question to you since you hadn't heard it yet. How can you maintain an attitude of gratitude when you're in a new market and encountering a lot of rejection?
Great.
Big question.
Boy, that's a great question. But again, I think what it is the fact that by going to different networking events, exposing yourself to a lot of people, and find out who the leaders are in those groups. Mid-market professionals. He met you, Cheryl. And then by that, rather than focusing on the other 50 people there, focus on one or two people that will introduce him to the right people. If he gets connected to the right people, they're going to help introduce him to people around. And it's just a better, more qualified way to do it. It's a faster way to do it. So I would say, hey, Josh, connect with the leaders of the groups that you go to.
Yes, that's super great. One of the things, too, that you and I've talked a lot about, and that's having mentors.
Yes.
Right? So, or an accountability partner. So, Josh, that would be a great thing to do, is find a mentor that you could go to, and also an accountability partner that just allows you to bounce things off. They're not there to judge you. They're just there to be grateful for you. You can be grateful for them. And I think having that attitude of gratitude, that attitude of what my pastor called it was expectancy versus expectation. Right? So you can be expectant to just enjoy somebody's company as opposed to the expectations of them doing business with you or whatever. Right? Yeah. So expectancy versus expectation. And that's what I'd really encourage you to do with a mentor or an accountability partner.
Absolutely. I'm going to second that motion there, Cheryl, that Josh, get yourself an accountability partner, because that will make the journey so much better, smoother, that'll help you when you do run into those stumbling blocks, that you've got someone that you can share your story with, and they're going to, pump you up and help you get adjusted to this new market that you're in.
That's right. I'm going to pump you up, right? So with that, there's some great tools and resources online that you can access through networktodaydfw.com. And one is your library.
Right, Rob's library. We're getting ready to, we bought some software that you're going to be able to access all the books that are in the library, which is getting close to 800. Also, you can go to purplecowbranding.com and hit the free resources button and download some great forms.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I am giving you tech tips during that time as well, because I like the electronic world. And so kind of working through just some electronic options. You're going to see some of those roll out each week. So if you sign up, now you got to sign up. So make sure when you go to the networktodaydfw.com, you want to sign up so that you can become part of the Network Today Nation. And that will allow us to give you access to some of these really cool things.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you gonna give us a hint maybe to our audience of what's happening next week?
Well, I think you kind of did. I think early on you said something about really having gratitude gives you
More.
yeah, that's right. It bolsters you up and makes you more confident. So we're going to be talking about just having that posture of authority. But that comes through training. That's not a fake it till you make it. It's got to be a real confidence, right? So that's what we're going to talk about the next time. All right. So thank you for joining us, Network Today, where we take you from meeting people to
making money.
All right.
All right, Cheryl.
Thank you, Rob.
Boom.
See you later.
This has been a Purple Cow production.